Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, welcome to season number 4. Wasn't sure we'd make it this far, and, well, I'm still kind of on the fence as to whether or not we're going to continue, but, we're not going to... One thing that I've decided is, we're not going to push this to be a half an hour show. We're going to let this be whatever it is. If it's a 10-minute show, it's a 10-minute show. If it's, if it's an hour, it's an hour. We'll just let it go. So...
Right.
So if we only have one topic, we're not going to go saying, oh, it's going to be a short episode. We just have one topic. That's the way it is.
Gonna let that meme rest in peace.
Gee, I didn't know it was a meme. But
well, if we actually had people watching, it would be a meme.
Yeah, there you go.
If we had an audience, it would be a meme.
Yeah. I almost got excited with the season 3 ending episode because we had 22 views. I was like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
Ooh.
Yeah, it's because of the title of the show. I'm gonna guess that everybody, they were searching for Linux and saw that, so they had to click on it. Yeah,
what was the title?
The title was Linux Anyone? Or something along those lines.
Ah, okay.
Let me take a quick look and see what exactly it was. So it was Linux Anyone. That was the show title.
Ah.
Yeah. We had 22 views for an average of 38 seconds. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. So it was because of the title,
Okay.
But, yeah. At any rate, so let's just jump right into the topics and see what kind of a show we get tonight.
All right.
So we're going to start off with California preparing for gas elimination. No, they're not farting. No, what they're doing, so a lot of revenue for every state comes from gas and tax on gas, to be specific. And California is one of the biggest pushers of going green. Again, you got to green
Obviously.
In quotes.
Yep.
But they're one of the biggest ones pushing it. And the way in which they are preparing for the complete and total end of all gas sales is they're figuring out how they are going to start taxing people per mile driven instead of taxing them on anything else. So I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. So this is how they're going to double dip. All right. So right now, if you buy gas, you are paying tax for that gas. So when you switch to an electric vehicle, you are going to be paying taxes on the purchase of your electricity, and you're going to be paying taxes to use that electricity to drive your car. So yes, folks, it's a double dip. And, I don't remember I think we talked about it as far as, electric bikes. I mean, electric bikes are a way to go. And they don't require a lot of electricity, which would eliminate a lot of problems. And because they are not heavy, they don't put a lot of wear and tear on roads. Which, heavy vehicles put a lot of wear and tear on roads. So, what are we doing? Well, we're switching from a fairly lightweight vehicle to something that the battery alone weighs as much as a current vehicle. So yes, you're doubling the weight of the vehicle, which is going to do what to the roads? Oh, it's going to put more wear and tear on the roads. But hey, we're going green.
Yeah.
It's truly ridiculous.
Save the planet.
Yeah, save the planet. Of course, the bigger problem there is out in California is the fact that at every single summer, what do they have? They have rolling blackouts. Why? Well, because they aren't producing enough electricity. So let's rely further on electricity than what we already are. Brilliant move.
Genius.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember where it was. I think it was Texas last year. They were saying, don't charge your cars today because it's going to be a high electric use. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's just insane. It's not the brightest thing to do. Sorry, folks, but it's not. And, there's plenty of places where it's been shown that hydrogen engines are much, much more efficient than electrics. And they charge. They don't charge. You fill a hydrogen engine, like the tank, as fast as you fill a gasoline engine tank.
Yeah.
So it eliminates the need to completely and totally rebuild everything because existing gas pumps could be converted. I assume. I don't know. I don't know how they, I don't know how they're filled, but there's a lot of issues with electric vehicles. And, and that'll lead us right into our next topic. And that is electric buses. I'm not talking just, the public transportation buses. I'm talking about school buses.
Yeah.
So here in New York, it's been dictated that by 2035, all vehicles, by 2035, no more sale of gasoline-powered vehicles, or in the case of buses, diesel. And there's a couple of big issues. Several of the superintendents around the area have actually done some studies on it. And the buses, the electric buses, cost roughly twice what a diesel-powered bus cost. So you're talking $500,000 versus $1 million. Big difference. And of course, you're also talking about having to build the infrastructure to charge these buses.
Right.
And on top of that, you have to have the electricity available to charge these. Which means not only are there new lines that need to be run from a substation over to these bus garages, but then you have to have a charging station for each one of these buses. Either that, or you're going to have somebody who's going in there late at night to move buses around. And, oh, by the way, you can't really do that because as soon as you move the bus, guess what? You've used some of the charge.
Yep.
So, now the other problem, when you start looking at Central Square School District, it's one of the largest school districts geographically in the state.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not an exaggeration at all, folks. From the farthest point away from the school to the school is like a 20-minute drive. And that's with no traffic. So now you're talking about a bus that has to stop and go all that way. I mean, I think it's literally, it's more than 20 minutes. I think it's literally like 25 miles from the farthest reaches from the school to the edge of the district. I mean, that's huge. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you start thinking about, the range that these buses have, the thing that uses the most energy is starting from a stop. Acceleration. And what do these buses do? They stop and start a lot.
Accelerate.
Yeah. They do this a lot. But then let's talk about another thing that's been brought up multiple times. So quite often, these schools, when they compete in sporting events or anything like that, you're talking a distance that could be 3 or 4 hours away. Which it's not an issue with a diesel bus to drive there and back on a single tank of diesel fuel. But with an electric bus, they're going to have to stop along the way and charge. Then they're going to have to charge while they're there. Then they're going to have to stop on the way back. It's not feasible. Unless something changes with battery technology. Solid state batteries show some promise because with a solid state battery for a car, it can fully charge from 0 all the way up to full charge in, I think it's like 10 minutes. Which, yes, that's more than what it takes for a car, to fill a car with gas. But it's a whole lot less than what it takes now to charge an electric car. So it becomes reasonable. But that technology is very, very new, and they're not going to put it into buses right away. But top that off, they're also not going to, it's not going to be cheap. So the deadline for schools to convert over to fully electric buses, I believe it's before 2035. I can't remember for sure, but it's ridiculous.
That is not enough time.
Yeah, it's not, especially when you start looking at the cost. I mean, yes, schools replace buses, every couple of years because of how much they sit there idling and all that other stuff, and how much they're used. But, you're talking double the cost to purchase them without even considering all the changes that you need to do at the bus garage. And to top that off, you also have to train your mechanics on how to actually maintain these vehicles. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to call a company in every time a bus breaks down? No.
No, that's even more expensive.
Yeah. And that's the problem. But it's these legislatures that are, they're making these decisions without even considering anything. I mean, someplace like, say, New York City, where they don't have school buses, where kids are using public transportation, hey, it's not a big deal. But you start talking about, more rural districts who do have to provide transportation. It's a big
these
deal.
Politicians only pay attention to is urban areas. Yeah.
And, here's the funny thing. So 2 of the state senators for the area, they talked to him on the news tonight, which is what caused me to add this in. But they talked to him, and they both voted to pass this. And one of them is saying, well, yeah, we passed it because we do know that we need to do it, but we now know that it's not feasible to do it as quickly as what the legislation states. However, we can adjust that after we do some studies and figure out what's needed. And the other one says, we can't backtrack on this. We have to move forward with it. Otherwise, we're leaving our children in a bad world because of climate change. I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay, so we can ignore the fact that we're going to tax them to death to pay for this just because you're too stupid to open your eyes and realize that, maybe you're pushing too hard. The infrastructure's not there. The battery technology is not there. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But But it's another situation where you've got, I mean, that senator she's not young. I don't know her name, but she's not young. And as she was speaking, she was kind of stumbling and everything. And, you know, to me, it seemed very much like an age thing, not a regular speech issue.
Yep.
But, you know, I could be wrong with that.
The president says he has.
Yeah. And I could be wrong with that. I don't know for sure. But at the same time, seriously, lady, you got to open your eyes and realize that technology is in progress. You know, we're working on stuff. You know, but
it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's not there yet. You know, and the reason that I say this is, you know, the reason I bring up her age is because it shows that she's not in touch with things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens. We get these politicians that are just so old, they're completely and totally out of touch with technology. They have no clue what the hell's going on.
They don't get it.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
Simple as that.
Yep. Anyhow, so let's move on to the last topic that we have in there for tonight.
Okay.
And I titled this one, Inconsistency in Sports.
Oh.
Now, you are going to end up having a whole lot to say about this, at least part of it.
Okay.
So, in the All-Star race...
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think you know where I'm going. So, yeah, there was...
Hope I do.
There was some kind of bump or something between Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Busch.
Correct.
And then Kyle Busch came back and wrecked Ricky Stenhouse intentionally.
Yeah, that was a massive overreaction.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and this is why I think you're going to have a lot to say about it. Kyle Busch was not penalized at all for doing that.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah, and who was? I wonder, who was penalized for intentionally wrecking somebody? Fairly recently, too. Couldn't be Chase Elliott. Now, could
around this, I believe it was around this time last year.
And he was heavily penalized.
The big difference is Chase Elliott right-reared Hamlin on the straightaway. Kyle Busch left-reared Stenhouse in the corner at a much slower track.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but...
See, this is the problem.
I am saying that what Elliott did was 5 times worse.
Well, it's not, really.
It was much more egregious.
It's not really, because here's the thing. Now you're setting a double standard. You know, you're leaving things open to judgment. If this was intentional...
That's what all these are, is judgment calls.
Well,
that's literally what all of these are.
Yes.
And that's why they're so inconsistent.
Yes, but here's the thing.
That's everything in sports. It's a judgment call.
Yeah, but this is a whole lot more. Because even at a slower track, in the corner like he was, doing that could still kill somebody.
In this day and age, no. There hasn't been a driver death since before I was born.
Yeah, but...
And these cars are so much safer than...
But it can still happen.
Back then.
It can still happen. And even if you're not killing somebody, you could end up ending somebody's career.
That I will give to you.
So, you know, I understand...
I will give to you that this car has a problem with drivers getting concussions. But that's only happened when the back ends hit the wall. In Stenhouse's crash, the front end hit the wall.
Right. But the whole thing is...
with not only a safer car, but a safer wall there, too.
Yeah, but the whole thing is...
Without that safer wall, then I'd be there. be right there with you, because Kyle Busch himself got injured because he broke his leg because he hit a concrete wall head on.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, my whole point is that if they're going to penalize somebody for intentionally wrecking another person, it shouldn't matter whether it's safer or not. They intentionally did that, and it's very blatant that it was intentionally done. You know, it wasn't a situation where, you know, they were up behind the pace car and he just went up and bumped him in the back.
Yeah.
No, they were at race speeds, and he went and he hit him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't like Stenhouse came down. It wasn't like Busch was sliding up. No, he purposely went right after him. It's intentional. Penalize him. You can make the penalty more steep when it's more dangerous, but he needed to be penalized.
Yes.
He needed to be penalized.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Busch should have gotten the fine that Stenhouse got, because Stenhouse got fined because he waited in the infield at Busch's hauler and went to fight him.
Well, he went to yell at him. Yeah, he went to yell at him, and I think the fact that Busch was just saying, "Oh, it's not my fault" or some crap like that, he had enough. You know, I mean, he had the whole race to sit there stewing over it. So, yeah, but that's where another inconsistency comes in.
Stenhouse's fine was too big, but I do think that he should have still gotten a fine.
I'm not going to disagree with that, other than the fact that NASCAR is extremely inconsistent. They will fine him for that, but then they're going to go and they're going to make sure that's broadcast on every single channel that's talking about NASCAR.
That's NASCAR does that all the time.
And it's the same thing when it comes to other sports, such as football. You know, there was the place kicker for the Chiefs said something about a woman should strive to be a mother and a homemaker, and that's it.
Ugh.
You know, and of course everybody in the NFL is saying, no, that's not what we feel like, and that's not how you should treat women and everything. But then, of course, what do? Well, I can't even think of the term right now, but basically, I mean, they make sure that the cheerleaders are dressed extremely skimpy and, you know, flaunting off everything, and, you know, they're just about naked there. But that's okay, but, you know, we can't. It's a double standard, and it happens in every single sport, you know? It's like, you know, the NFL, they talk about how, you know, how hard-hitting the game is and how much action there is. But then they turn around, oh, well, you know, you can't hit this person this way, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, or we're going to fine you. And it's like, you're saying that, and then your advertisements focus on that.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is in every sport.
It is. And, you know, it's something that really needs to change, because people are getting hurt just so that these leagues or whatever you want to call them make more money. And it's utterly ridiculous. But at any rate, folks, so I'm sure you heard that music starting up.
That means good night.
We'll see ya.